Modern video marketing essentials. In the previous discussion, I've walked you through the process of reverse engineering your competitors and then making your videos better. The next step involves following the essentials of modern video marketing to make your videos more effective. How come? Well, if you follow these tips, your videos will probably be more visible on YouTube. When people search for your niche, they're more likely to find your videos. These tips mostly turn on visibility. They are aimed at getting you eyeballs for your videos. Mention the keyword in the video itself. A lot of newbie video marketers on YouTube screw up by just packing their description as well as their video file name and video title with their target keyword. That is spam. Don't do that. You can mention your target keyword in your title once and then maybe a related keyword in the subtitle. That's it. Don't overdo it. Don't stuff the description or title of your video with keywords. What you should do is you should mention the keywords in the body of the video itself. So, when you're doing your video presentation and your target keywords are metal military figures, say that phrase from time to time. It has to flow naturally. It has to be a natural part of the video conversation you're having with your viewer. Why do this? Does Google even know? Well, it does. Because when you upload a video on YouTube, it automatically transcribes it. This happens after a few hours. So, you upload a video, and then after a few hours, there will be a transcription. Now, you're out of luck when the transcription is in another language. Sometimes Google's algorithm does this, but oftentimes it's in English. So, with this transcription, Google can determine whether your video actually talks about the keywords that you put in your description or title or file name. Put your keyword in your title. This goes without saying. This should be obvious. If you have a target keyword, put it in the title. It has to be natural, but try to put it as close to the beginning of the title as possible. Write attention-grabbing titles. Now, you may be thinking that this makes a lot of sense. You might even be thinking that this is obvious. Well, it's not that easy. Remember, you're already going to be putting your target keyword in your title, and sometimes it's very hard to come up with attention-grabbing headline when you have an awkward keyword. So, you might want to play around with this for a long time. Ask a lot of people and see if you can come up with a nice compact title. What makes this even more difficult is that you cannot use really, really long titles. It would be great if you could do that, so you can basically just write a mini story, but you can't. Use LSI keywords in your description. LSI keywords stand for Latent Semantic Indexing Keywords. These are keywords that are thematically related to your target keyword. So, when you find the most related keywords to your target keyword and you put it in a description that makes grammatical sense and flows naturally, you're creating context. When Google's powerful search engine's video search algorithm process your description, it gets an idea on the context of your video. It's not just some random video that popped up. It has a specific context. Put a call to action in the description. Your description must not only describe the video with your LSI keywords, but it must also call the viewer to action. If your video does a great job and you talk about your description, when they look at the description, they should be called to action. Maybe they could click a link to join your mailing list. Maybe they could click a link to read more materials on your blog. Whatever the case may be, call them to action because otherwise, that's a failed opportunity. That's a missed opportunity. Call the viewer to action in the video itself. Don't drop the ball on this. Your description should call the viewer to action, but your video itself should also call the viewer to action. Maybe it's an audio signal or maybe it's a video sign. Whatever the case may be, call them to action. Get them to do something. Excite the viewer about all your social media accounts in the video. As much as possible, tell your viewers that you can be found pretty much on all major social media platforms. Show icons of your Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Google+, and Facebook pages. When you do this, you create the impression that your viewer can actually get more content from you and can interact with you in so many different ways. You're not just on YouTube. Ask the viewer to ask a question or otherwise engage with your content. It doesn't hurt to ask the viewer to share, like, or comment on your video, even if the easiest ways to do this is to ask the viewer a question. For example, you published a series of nightclub guides where you hop from country to country. At the end of your latest video, you can say to your viewer, which nightclub, which city, and which country would you want me to go to next so I can shoot a video? You can ask for requests. You can ask for comments and feedback. You could ask if people had a problem. Whatever the case may be, when people engage in your content, YouTube tends to rank your video higher because engagement indicates that people are actually paying attention to your video. This also increases the likelihood that people would watch your video all the way through. Viewing duration also plays a big role in how well your video ranks. Don't lose sight of these modern video marketing essentials because they're crucial in making your video more visible. However, for you to reach this stage, you must first create videos that have completely demolished your competitors by packing a lot more value. Figuring out the different types of video marketing. It's very important to make sure that you have clearly reverse engineered your competitors. If it turns out that they are cranking out a specific type of video, you need to follow suit. Like I said, you don't have to copy and paste exactly what they're doing. If you did that, people really don't have much of an incentive or a reason to watch your videos because you're cranking out videos that are the copies of your competitors. Why watch your stuff when they can watch your competitors that are probably better known? They probably have better brands. Do you see how this works? You have to come up with something better. Still, you need to focus on what they are doing so you can offer something that your audience is already familiar with. You're not creating something completely new. You're not creating some sort of new market. You're not doing any of that because oftentimes when you try to do that, you fall flat on your face. With that said, you have to pick apart the type of videos your competitors are producing in your niche. Understand that marketing video types have their own set of advantages and disadvantages. To recap, you're going to be focusing on a specific type of video to find the answer to this by reverse engineering your competitors. What are the available types? Article to video, video scribe and other whiteboard video creation tools, slideshow creation tools, slideshows with voiceover, personality-focused videos. The list above includes most common types of marketing videos found on YouTube and other platforms. Your plan of attack should be pretty straightforward. You're going to zero in on the type of videos most of your competitors are offering. You're not going to do something completely different. You're not going to approach this completely from left field because while that approach sometimes works, most of the time it doesn't work. Most of the time, you just end up wasting money. So, you're going to build on what they're doing, but you're going to also make sure that the type of marketing videos your competitors are producing best fits your conversion strategy. Are you converting through a direct link? Are you converting through your blog? These are different ways of conversion. These are different conversion platforms. You have to make sure that your platform fits the type of videos you will be using to promote. Also, you have to make sure that the video type that you choose enables you to build a brand efficiently. I cannot insist on this enough. I'm telling you, if you're not building a brand, you have a commodity. That is a paraphrase from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's absolutely on spot because if you don't sell a brand that people can identify with and read in all sorts of values, you're not really offering anything different from your competitors. You're back to the problem I described above where your viewers would say, well, why should I go to your website when I can get the same stuff from other websites that I already go to? You really don't have an answer to that. And that's why when your content is a commodity, people don't have a real reason to click on your links, buy stuff from you, or otherwise do things that put extra dollars in your pocket. Article to video marketing. Is it right for you? One of the most common ways people produce marketing videos involves turning text articles into videos. This is a software-driven solution. Basically, they would take an article that they wrote, maybe it's a blog post, perhaps it's a resource article, it really doesn't matter. They would feed it into the software, and the software would basically create a slideshow based on the keywords of the text. Of course, there is an editorial manual override. You look at the pictures that got associated, and you can switch things around. Still, it is a video slideshow. So, you get a text scrolling at the bottom and then some images, and basically, the software just pairs graphics with your text. Pretty straightforward. Advantages. The most obvious advantage to this way of creating marketing videos is that it's very quick. You only need to have an existing article. You can outsource it. You can have it spun by using software. Whatever the case may be, you just have text, and you just plug it into the software. Also, you can automate this pretty easily using an add-on software animation tool that schedules desktop software. Whatever the case may be, you can crank out an insane amount of marketing videos using this technique. Disadvantages. I wish I could tell you that the solution is brand new. Unfortunately, it's been around for a few years and a lot of people use it. In fact, use would be too charitable a word. The more appropriate word would be abuse because people crank out an ungodly amount of videos and then they just mass upload all that stuff to YouTube. As you can well imagine, a lot of that stuff is very forgettable because when you're operating on a grand scale, you probably are not going to meticulously check each video to make sure that it has the right impact. You probably are not going to be very careful regarding the matching of the right text with the right pictures. You probably couldn't care less about that stuff. Instead, you just want to create as many videos as possible, spam as many different keywords on YouTube as possible, and call it a day. This stuff is very easy to forget and lacks a personal touch. As I have mentioned previously, one of the main reasons why video marketing is so powerful is because of the opportunity for a personal connection that it makes possible. Well, you're not doing any of that. You're basically just sharing slideshows, which is paired with some sort of subtitle. Suggestion: how do you improve this type of video marketing? How do you build on this? Well, first of all, you need to focus on quality over quantity. I know it's very tempting to just scrape or put together or gather or outsource a tremendous amount of content. Believe me, I can see the temptation. However, you need to overcome that and focus instead on the very best script you can find. This script must be video-centered. A lot of people automatically think that if they see a very informative article online, then this automatically means that when those words are scrolling, people will respond favorably. Now, a script actually involves fewer words. They're spaced apart. They're in plain English. There are just so many variables involved. It's not even the same ballpark. So, you have to get high-quality conversational scripts that are packed with value. This takes time, and this can take some money. Regardless of what you do, step up the quality of your script. Next, you have to personalize the video. So, while the vast majority of the video involves graphics with subtitles from the article that the video is based on, you should also include portions where there's a voiceover or there's a snippet or segment or clip of actual moving video. Finally, even if you really try to pretty up this type of video content, I would suggest that you use it only as supplemental content. This should not be your meat and potatoes. By supplemental, I'm talking about it paving the way for eventual conversion. It opens people's minds, but it is not the centerpiece of your video marketing campaign. You should use it really as filler, regardless of how good it is.